everyone, I'm Michelle with Designs by JuJu, and in today's video tutorial, I will be stitching the In the Hoop January Monthly Mini Sampler Quilt. This project is made to coordinate with the House for Monthly Sampler Quilt that's available only in the December 2025 bonus bundle. If you have yet to check out the bonus bundle for this month, make sure that you do so. We'll have it linked in the description box below. This project is available in two sizes, 6x10 and 8x12. In today's tutorial, I will be stitching the 6x10 size. This project also features 5 hoopings that are stitched together using a sewing machine at the end. Each of the blocks features adorable applique and satin detail work. Let's get started. For the In the Hoop January Mini Sampler Quilt, you will need the following supplies. Fabric cut according to the supply list listed within your PDF. You will also need a large array of different applique fabrics. I'm going to be using fabric from the Riley Blake Designs collections, POParazzi, stripes, and cotton shades. No Show Mesh Cutaway Stabilizer. I'm using magicMESH Cutaway Stabilizer from Designs by JuJu Plus. SF101 Fusible Interfacing fused to the back of my background fabrics to provide added support and durability for my satin stitches. Batting. I'm using loftySOFT batting from Designs by JuJu Plus, embroidery thread, scissors, and finally, you will need some type of a finishing elastic. I'm going to be using 1/8 inch soft stretch elastic to hang my mini quilt onto the bonus bundle house that I will show you at the end during assembly. You could also use buttons, Velcro, or cam snaps. All right, let's head over to the embroidery machine and let's get stitching. Included with your purchase from Designs by JuJu, there are 2 sizes of the In the Hoop January Mini Sampler Quilt. For today's tutorial, I'm going to be stitching the 6x10 size. There is also an 8x12 size available for machines with larger hoops. I already have my No Show Mesh Cutaway Stabilizer loaded onto my 6x10 hoop, and as I stated, I'm using the Designs by JuJu Plus magicMESH, so I'm ready to run my first stitch, which is going to be the placement line for my batting. Next, I'm going to take my batting and I'm going to lay it directly on top of the placement lines that my machine just stitched. Remember, I am using the Designs by JuJu Plus loftySOFT batting for this project. Once I have my batting laid down, I'm ready to run the tack down stitch to secure it in place. Next, I'm going to remove my hoop from my machine and I'm going to trim away all of this excess batting right along the tack down stitches, making sure not to trim any of the tack down stitches. I've just trimmed away that excess batting and now I'm ready to run the next stitch, which is going to be the placement line for my first background fabric. Next, I'm going to place my first piece of background fabric directly over those placement stitches, making sure that I have at least a 1/2 inch border around the outside edge, and I'm going to run the tack down to secure that backing fabric in place. Next, I'm going to remove my hoop from my machine and I'm going to trim away some of this excess fabric along the bottom and inside the snowman. I've just trimmed away the excess fabric, and as you can see, I cut these pieces at an angle to provide some added fabric along those sides. That will come in handy when I go to assemble my mini quilt at the end. So I'm going to repeat these exact same steps for the snowman, scarf, and snow applique pieces. I'm going to run those steps off camera and then we'll check back in once they're complete. You will follow the exact same steps of running your initial placement line, tacking down your fabric, and trimming away your excess fabric. I've just completed stitching all of my applique stitches, so now I am ready to load my hoop back onto my machine and I'm going to run all of the decorative and satin stitches off camera. This is going to run all of the snowflakes, the scarf elements, the snowman's arms, and his face. So like I said, I'm going to run those stitches off camera and we'll check back in once they're complete. I've just completed stitching the block E for my January mini quilt, so now I am ready to remove my project from my hoop. And the first step that I'm going to do is I'm going to remove all of this excess stabilizer from around the outside edges of my project. Next, I'm going to use my rotary cutter and a straight edge ruler to trim a 1/2 inch seam allowance around the entire block. I've just trimmed away the excess fabric along the outer edges, leaving a 1/2 inch seam allowance, and my block is complete. So now I'm ready to stitch the remaining blocks within this mini quilt, and then we'll be ready for the assembly process. Now that I have all of my blocks stitched, I'm ready to begin the assembly process. So as you can see, I have blocks A, B, C, D, and we just completed block E on camera. So I'm first going to move away my C, D, and E blocks, and I'm just going to start with my blocks A and B. As I begin to assemble my mini quilt, I want to make strips of equal length. So the first step I'm going to do is I'm going to stitch together block A and block B. The first step that I'm going to do is I'm going to take block B and I'm going to position it right side together with block A, like so. Next, I'm going to align the outermost tack down stitches of both of these blocks. So my edge here and my stitches here. I'm going to line those stitches up, and then I'm going to either pin or clip both of these blocks in place. Now that I have these two blocks clipped together in place, I'm going to take it over to my sewing machine and I'm going to run a stitch right in between the outermost tack down stitch and this inner stitch, which was our tack down stitch for our batting. You want to make sure that you stitch just inside the outermost tack down stitch so that none of these stitches are visible when you open your block here in just a little bit. So I'm going to take this over to my sewing machine and run that stitch. If you have completed that stitching correctly, you should no longer see those outermost tack down stitches between the seam of these blocks. You will also want to press open your seams on the back like I have done. So now I'm going to set blocks A and B off to the side, and now I'm ready to stitch together blocks C and D. Again, we're going to follow a similar process, except this time we are going to be lining up the outermost tack down stitches along the bottom of these two blocks. So I'm going to flip my mittens so that right sides are together with these blocks. And again, I'm going to line up the outermost stitches here and pin or clip in place. Now that I have blocks C and D clipped together, I'm ready to again take it over to my sewing machine, and I am going to stitch just inside the outermost tack down stitch, making sure that I'm running that stitch right between those two stitches right there. So I'm going to go run that stitch off camera and then we'll check back in once it's complete. I've just stitched together blocks C and D, and again, as you can see, there are no additional stitches between that seam line. That's how we want it to look. And again, I have pressed open my seam along the back. So now I am going to take this larger block that I have created and I am going to attach it to my block E that we stitched on camera earlier. Again, I'm going to follow the exact same process that I have already been doing. I am going to take my block E and I am going to flip it so that right sides are together on top of my combined block C and D. I'm going to pin or clip along the outer edges, making sure to line up that outermost tack down stitch. And then I'm going to stitch these two blocks together right inside that outermost tack down stitch. Now that I have these two blocks clipped together in place, I'm going to take it over to my sewing machine and I'm going to run a stitch right inside that outermost tack down stitch. I've just completed stitching together blocks C, D, and E. So now I'm ready for my final block, which is going to be my larger block A and B that we stitched earlier. So now, as you can see, we have rows of equal length. So that's what I was talking about earlier. That's why we had to combine these two blocks before we could add this block. We want them all to be equal length so that they will stitch together exactly how they're supposed to. So now I'm going to take blocks A and B and my larger block C, D, and E, and I'm going to flip my block AB, right side facing down, pin or clip in place, and again, run a stitch right inside that outermost tack down line. Now that we have all of the blocks on our January mini sampler quilt stitched together, we're ready to do some finishing touches. So this next step, you will have some options. Depending on how you plan to adhere your mini quilt to your monthly house, this step may look differently. But as you can see on my monthly house here, it's so cute, I have attached buttons on each of the 4 corners. So I'm planning to put my mini quilt here in the middle using some elastic. Now this step is very much similar to our interchangeable pillows if you've ever made those. So that is the process that I'm going to show. There are other ways that you could secure this mini sampler quilt to your house, such as Velcro or cam snaps, or you could even pin it in place if you would prefer, but this is the method that I am going to show you how to do. So as I stated earlier, I'm going to be using some 1/8 inch soft stretch elastic for the corners of my mini quilt here. So I'm going to go ahead and just trim a small piece for each of the corners. And I am going to clip it in place. Now, I don't want too much elastic, otherwise it won't be tight around my button, but I also don't want to have too little, otherwise it could pull my wall hanging and make it like bunch in the middle. So you want to get just the right amount, enough that will go around your button securely and hold it in place. And as I stated, I'm going to go ahead and clip that in place. I'm going to do that for all 4 corners. Then I am going to take this over to my sewing machine and I'm just going to stitch a little tack down stitch to secure that elastic in place. Now, if you are an advanced seamstress, you may be able to go ahead and do your elastic when you add your envelope backing, but I'm going to do this in 2 separate steps just so that I make sure I get my elastic exactly where I want it. I have my elastic secured using some clips. So like I said, I'm going to take this over to my sewing machine and I'm just going to run a simple tack down stitch to secure each of these elastic pieces in place. All right, I've just stitched down my elastics and I'm going to go ahead and apply just a little piece of tape to keep them out of the stitch path as we go ahead and add our backing. I have went ahead and cut my backing fabric and I'm just going to be using some white cotton. So I have 2 pieces cut to size according to the supply list included with your PDF. And I actually have a little bit of excess, but I've folded them in half, given them a good press. So I have 2 pieces that are exactly the same. And we call this an envelope backing. So how I'm going to do this is I'm going to place my backing fabric with the fold towards the middle. So I'm going to place my first piece and then I'm going to take my second piece again with the fold. I'm going to overlap the fold. So I have my first fold and my second fold, and I'm just going to overlap them, 1.5 inches, 2 inches. It's totally up to you. So here's the fold right in the center. And then I'm going to place my mini quilt right side facing down directly on top of my envelope backing. So as you can see, I just have it lined up and I try to line up the center about where that fold is at, just so when you go to flip this around, it makes more sense for where your center's at. So now I'm going to use some sewing pins and I'm going to secure my mini quilt to my backing fabric. Now that I have my mini quilt pinned to my backing fabric, I'm going to take it over to my sewing machine. And again, I'm going to stitch just inside that outermost tack down all the way around the entire mini quilt. I've just stitched down my backing fabric. So here's what it looks like from the back of the mini quilt. And this is our envelope backing. So as you can see here, there's my opening into my mini quilt. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim away some of this excess backing fabric. So I'm just going to use some sharp scissors and I'm just going to trim it right along the 1/2 inch seam allowance that is around my blocks that I stitched earlier. And you will also want to trim your edges at an angle. That'll make it easier when you go to turn your mini quilt here in a little bit. All right, so now that I have all of that excess fabric trimmed away and I've cut my edges at an angle, I'm ready to flip my mini quilt over and I am going to open my envelope backing here and I'm going to start to flip this mini quilt through the opening in the back of my envelope backing. And a turning tool can come in handy when you're ready to push out these corners. There we go. Next, I'm going to take this over to my iron and I'm going to give it a good press. And here's what we're left with. We just completed the January mini sampler quilt. So here's the look from the front, and here's our envelope backing that we just reversed our little mini quilt through. You can see I have my elastic on the edges, and again, that step is optional if you're choosing to adhere your mini quilt to your house in a different way. So let me show you what that looks like. So as I stated earlier, I did go ahead and add some buttons to my house, and I can just use those little elastics that I stitched on to secure my mini quilt to the house. And of course, this is going to be interchangeable for every season, so this will become a very unique and fun decor piece in your home year round. Look how cute that is. So there's the top, and there's my January mini quilt. We just completed stitching our In the Hoop January monthly mini sampler quilt. As you saw on camera, I stitched block E, and then I showed you how to assemble the mini quilt using a sewing machine at the end. You also saw me add elastic to the corners as well as an envelope backing. This project is the first in a series of many monthly mini quilts that coordinate perfectly with our In the Hoop house for monthly mini quilts. If you're interested in getting the house for the monthly mini quilts, make sure to check out the December 2025 bonus bundle. Let me show you what that looks like with the bonus house. Here is the house that was designed to coordinate with each of the monthly mini quilts. As you can see, I added buttons to each of the 4 corners here of my house, allowing me to interchange my monthly mini quilt as I see fit. As I said, this is the first in a series of multiple mini quilts that will be available year-round. Make sure to keep your eyes peeled on the Designs by JuJu website for more of these adorable quilts so that you can swap out your decor year-round. This project was so fun to do, and I can't wait to see the other monthly mini quilts that Designs by JuJu releases. I hope you have enjoyed today's tutorial. Make sure to check the description box below for additional helpful links. Also, make sure to join the Designs by JuJu Blessings Facebook group for more tips, tricks, and inspiration. We hope to see you soon. Don't forget to subscribe. Happy stitching!